Hello, my beautiful Africans. We bless God once again for an opportunity to be alive and to dialogue among ourselves. We thank God for Africa. We thank God for all Africans in diaspora. And we bless the Almighty God for how far He has brought us as a continent in 2022. So, like going forward, you know the bigger picture. It is all about Africa. It is all about Africa developing. And it is all about Africa becoming competitive. So, the title for today's message is United States of Africa. United States of Africa. And once again, this is your boy and your host, Kwame, the African child. And I proudly and humbly welcome you once again on Africa, my heritage TV. Be with me in the next 13 to 15 minutes ahead of us. Thank you for your patience and attention. So, what is United States of Africa? So, the United States of Africa is the bigger dream that we as Africans are waiting to see, maybe in the foreseeable future ahead of us. It isn't far from reach. It is more than possible. You see, now before the United States of America became what it is today, they were individual countries, they were individual states, they were individual territories. Are you understanding? It wasn't like this back in almost about, say, 300 years ago or 300 years backwards. It wasn't like this. The United States of America that we are seeing today, it was independent countries, it was independent states, it was independent territories. Then because they realized the force and power within unity, because they were able to realize the strength behind oneness, they decided to eschew their individual differences as a state. They decided to eschew their individual differences as a territory and to come together to form a one formidable central government that can have power, control, and dominance over the global world. So as these people were able to do it, the same way African leaders today can also do it. It is just a matter of just getting away your pride. It is just a matter of African leaders in the independent African countries getting rid of their selfishness and looking at the comfort and looking at the happiness of the whole people called Africans. So now we are living in this global world which I called paste and copy, or copy and paste. So whatever you've seen your brother doing, you can copy and you can also paste it into your country, or you can also paste it into whatever context upon which you would want it to fit. So I'm begging you and I'm pleading with you, our African leaders, African Union, the time for you to sit down as a continent and to decide on becoming a one Africa, it is now or never. You see, when Americans wanted to come together to form one country, they met a lot of challenges. They went through a lot of struggles. They went through a lot of opposition. There was a lot of dissension. There were people that was even ready to even sacrifice their life on the altar in making sure America couldn't become what it is today. But you see, in any revolution, in any advancement and proposition, we have to also have a committed people, a people that are willing and ready to even also sacrifice their life for things that they believe in. That should, in case they even sacrifice their life for the things they believe in today, and they don't even live to benefit. They foresee the next generation and posterity coming to benefit from whatever they sacrifice for. So the lives of George Washington, many of the American presidents, they all sacrificed their life on this altar. They paid a huge price for the United States of America that we are seeing today. So it wasn't like a nightmare. It wasn't like a one-day wonder. They worked hard for it. They sacrificed for it. They committed to it. They paid the ultimate price. And now we are seeing the embodiment of whatever they were able to sacrifice for almost about 300 years ago. So my African leaders, the time for Africa to come together is now or never. You see, Africa has been taken advantage of for almost about 100 years now. Why? Because of our disunity. People look down on Africa. Why? Because of our disunity. You could just imagine like a continent called Africa, and we are having an independent countries that are even having population of almost, let's say, less than 2 million. So how do you negotiate? Where is your influence? Where is your power? Where is your voice? You don't have it. As an independent country with less than 2 million people, you don't have that power. You don't have that authority to be able to negotiate with the United States, to be able to negotiate with China, to be able to negotiate with the West. And we are seeing most of these independent states in Africa. You see, the country with the highest population in Africa is Nigeria. And even as I'm talking right now, Nigeria is not even up to 200 million. The next country after Nigeria is Democratic Republic of Congo. And they are also no more than 150 million. Overall, the continent of Africa, we are not even more than 1 billion. So how do we negotiate? How do we try to fight for what is best for our people when we are dealing with China that is having almost about 2 billion population? How do we negotiate with China to get the best for our people as an independent country? There is no way this thing is going to work. That is why China has been taking advantage of Africa. China has been manipulating most African countries' leaders with money, with goodies, to understand that most African leaders have also sold their conscience to China. Recently, I told you about a video that I did. What is recently going on in Zambia? To understand that they are owning the Chinese people, the debt upon which they are supposed to pay to the Chinese people. They cannot pay it. So to understand that they have to use the airport right now as a collateral. National airport in Zambia, the Chinese people has taken over the airport because the country Zambia is owing them. So far as we cannot stand together as one people, so far as we cannot unite towards the common front, Chinese would always have its own way to manipulate all African individual states. So my people, my fellow African leaders, you have to consider this. Most great African leaders, they sacrifice their life on this mission. We can make mention of a lot of them. A lot of them. My own president, the first president of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah, the likes of Muammar Gaddafi, Jomo Kenyatta, Thomas Sankara. There's a lot of great African leaders who sacrifice their life on this altar in making sure that Africa can unite to have a common voice, to have a negotiation power, to have influence and dominance when it comes to issues on these issues in the international market and issues affecting the globe. But you see, the Western world also knows if we sit down idle, relax, and allow Africa to unite and to become one nation and to have a one powerful leader, there is no way we would be able to manipulate Africa in taking their natural resources. There is no way we would be able to manipulate African leaders in stealing whatever they need to develop their continent. So in order to keep on manipulating them, in order to keep on taking from them, in order to keep on playing smart on them, in order to keep on undermining their growth and development, let's make sure they always stay disunited. So it doesn't matter whatever the Western world needs to put on board to make sure Africa will be disunited, they will put on board. And because most African leaders cannot also think outside the box, They cannot dream and foresee the next 20 years, the next 30 years ahead of us. They always look at the present. They always look at the current. Then they will take money to sacrifice to satisfy their caprices. They will take money to corrupt themselves at the expense of their people that they sworn an oath to come and to defend, protect, and to give them better life. So I beg you, my African leaders. I beg you, African Union. I beg you, prime ministers and presidents of independent African countries. We are lacking negotiating power as a continent. We are lacking the dominance and the influence. We are not playing our roles well with respect to the international world. And this is so because we stay disunited. This is so because we are isolating ourselves the more. Consider a country or a continent like North America. North America or the United States of America in itself is like a continent. Because the United States of America is having 50 states. And mind you, any of these states is like a country. The whole continent of Africa is having 54 states. It's having 54 independent countries. If you come to the United States, they are also having 50 states. But those states are not independent. As much as they can make their own rules, they can make their own laws, regulations as a state. When it comes to the bigger picture, they all comply to the central government. They all comply to the federal government. So as much as the federal government acknowledges the state government, the broader picture and the bigger picture is always on the federal government. And because of this, they've been able to amass resources. They've been able to grow. They've been able to advance. And they've been able to technologize their economy to understand that everybody wants to come to America. We can also do the same thing in Africa. We can also do the same thing in Africa. A continent that we can have some independent countries with less than 2 million population. A continent that we can have some independent countries with less than 5 million population. But yet they are all independent countries. You don't have any dominance. You don't have any power. You don't have any influence. The time for us to come together to unite is now or never. Else we would still become prey to the Chinese, to the wars, and to any other continent that always look down on Africa. Africa, it is not a child on the table. Africa is not a prey on the table. Africa is not how do I even put it? Africa shouldn't become the laughing stock for the other Western world. Africa needs to rise. Africa needs to start standing for the things he believes in. Africa needs to be proud of our dignity and our heritage as a people. We have to start doing things in the African way. We have to start promoting Africa. We have to start projecting Africa with power, Africa with authority, Africa with dominance, Africa with one front and one voice. That when he speaks, it goes louder. When he speaks, it can reach the farther distance. Why? Because that voice that people would be hearing, that voice that would be echoed, is back with almost about, say, 600 million people in the continent. But it's not back with almost about, say, less than 2 million people, less than 3 million people. So my African leaders, my dear African Union, the time for us to consider the United States of Africa is now or never. If we don't commit to togetherness, if we don't commit to unity, if we don't commit to oneness, if we don't commit to all these things that I'm saying here, we are going to perish. Muammar Gaddafi of Libya foresaw this coming. He gave a lot of predictions. President Kwame Nkrumah foresaw this coming. He gave a lot of predictions. Nelson Mandela foresaw this coming. He gave a lot of predictions. What are we waiting for, Africa? What are we waiting for? We are living in the 21st century that everybody is trying to come together. If you go to Asia, if you go to eastern part of Asia, South Asia, central part of Asia, they are all trying to come together. In the Americas here, we are seeing the same thing. In Oceania, we are seeing the same thing. In Australia, we are seeing the same thing. In Central America, Comebo, we are seeing the same thing. But when it comes to the continent of Africa, it is always about division. It is always about troubles. It is always about catastrophe. It is always about acrimonies. It is always about selfishness. It is always about pride and arrogance. That doesn't take Africa anywhere. So please, my African leaders, if 50 individual states and territory could unite themselves to become the United States of America that we are seeing today, then the same way 54 independent countries in Africa could also unite to give a voice, to give power, influence, and dominance to the African Union. That is the mother organization. I know you sit down, you would consider this message coming from an African who is proud of Africa and who wants to see Africa developing, and who wouldn't want to see Africa always being relegated to the background. The time for us to rise is now. The time for us to be waving the African continent flag is now. But we can't do that without unity. The borders in Africa is too much. The borders in Africa is too much. You travel from Ghana to Togo, there is a border between Ghana and Togo. You travel from Togo to Burkina Faso, there's a border between Togo to Burkina Faso. You travel from Cote d'Ivoire to Togo, there is a border. You travel from Ghana to Nigeria, there is a border. You travel from Kenya to Mauritania, there is a border. Everywhere in Africa, there is a border. And with these artificial borders, how do we unite and how do we develop? How do we even trade among ourselves as people? No wonder we are not commanding any power and influence when it comes to trading. Should, in case Africa decides to unite and comes together as one, even trading among ourselves could lead Africa into seeing prosperity, could lead Africa into seeing the development that we have all been yearning and be waiting for. That seems to be waiting. That seems to be extending itself, and that seems to be procrastinating itself always. So please, my African leaders, let us rise, let us stand up, let's remain together, and let's fight for a common Africa that would work for all the African individual countries and states. This is your boy Kwame, the African child, and I brought you this message because, to me, per my little and limited understanding, I believe that the time for Africa to unite, to become United States of Africa, is now or never. Because the advancement in technology, the modernization of this world is also giving the African youth the opportunity to think, to reason, and to also foresee what can happen in the next 20 years ahead of us, should in case Africa decide not to unite. So please, our African leaders, what we are here talking about, we came and read from the lives of Nelson Mandela, we came and read from the lives of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, we came and read from the lives of Muammar Gaddafi, we came and read from the lives of Thomas Sankara, we came and read from the lives of Jomo Kenyatta. They all wanted to see Africa developing. They gave prophecies and predictions almost about, say, 50, 60 years ago. Africa never paid heed to it. Now we are suffering. We've been burdened with the consequences. Are we also going to sit blindfold, sit idle, and to also wait for the next generation and posterity to come and to curse the generation that weren't able to unite Africa for development? A word to the wise is enough. Thank you, and God bless you for joining me. I will see you again in the next broadcast. Thank you.